So we will begin our class with this evidence today, and this evidence has a name to remember called as the paleontological evidence. Now the word paleontological evidence comes from the word paleontology, and the word paleontology refers to study of fossils. I repeat, there is an evidence here called as the paleontological evidence. The word paleontological comes from the word paleontology, which means study of fossils. Okay. Now, can I say that our planet Earth has undergone several disasters? Okay. And because of these disasters, like the floods, then the earthquake, then the volcano, can I say these disasters have damaged a huge biodiversity present on our planet Earth? Yes or no? Planet Earth has got so many different types of plants and animals, and these plants and animals, somewhere they are affected by the disasters. Now, can I say that whenever a disaster occurs, the remnants refers to remains, okay? The remnants and impressions of such organisms who undergo sudden death, they are being preserved underground. Yes or no? Okay. Many animals, living organisms which undergo a sudden death, their remains and their impressions, okay, they are preserved underground in the form of fossils like this. Yes or no? These impressions and remnants which are being present and preserved underground, we call them as fossil. Study of fossils is known as paleontology. I repeat, study of fossils is known as paleontology, and based upon that study, whatever evidences we could gather, those evidences we call them as the paleontological evidence. Till here, is everybody clear? Okay. Now, to, to understand that what was the life of organism, or to understand that since how many years ago this organism was present on planet Earth, there is a technique which is used called as carbon dating. I repeat, carbon dating is a technique, is a way through which we can identify and we can get a rough figure, one estimated number, that this organism was alive so many years ago. This organism underwent death so many years ago. So, you can get some evidences of evolution. You can actually place a sequence. This animal came and then this animal came into origin. This animal came, uske baad this animal came into origin. So this technique is called as carbon dating. Now chemistry, in class 9 chemistry, we have already studied that there are two forms of carbon. We have carbon 12 and we have carbon 14. These are called as the isotopes of carbon. Yes or no? Okay. So we have carbon 12 and we have got carbon 14. And some basics of carbon dating you are already aware about. But here in class 10, we will try to understand that how carbon dating method is used to estimate the age of fossils. Okay, so we are clear till here that there are two forms of carbon, carbon 12 and carbon 14. Now, the two carbon forms which are there in front of us, दोनों में से carbon 14, they say it is formed in the atmosphere and it is radioactive. Carbon 12 is our natural carbon जो exist करता है. Carbon 14 is a carbon formed in the atmosphere and it is highly radioactive. Now, what do you mean by radioactive? Radioactive मतलब धीरे धीरे करके it can decline. The process by which an unstable atomic nucleus loses energy by emitting radiation. Okay, it emits radiation and gradually it is a process by which the unstable atomic nucleus will lose energy by emitting radiation. Now, we have carbon 12, which is present in the living bodies of plants and animals, and it is non-radioactive. So I hope we are clear till here. There are two forms of carbon. We have carbon 12 and we have carbon 14. Carbon 14 is radioactive. Carbon 12 is a natural carbon found in the atmosphere, found in the bodies of living organisms, and it is non-radioactive. Now, you all are aware that all living organisms, in class 9th, there was a chapter that we had studied, energy flow in an ecosystem. Do you remember that carbon is one such thing present in all living organisms? Yes or no? Okay. We know that the plants prepare their food in their body. When they prepare their food in their body, they will use carbon. Correct? Yes or no? Okay. They will use carbon and they will prepare the food in their body. Now, plants are eaten by animals so that carbon will come into our body. Yes or no? carbon is used to prepare different types of organic nutrients. We had studied no that carbon से ही carbohydrates are formed in the plant body. Yes or no? Carbon से ही fats can also be formed in the body of living organism. So we say that carbon is one such element that is used to produce carbohydrates, proteins, etc. So all living organisms, they will take in carbon in some or the other form. So every living organism's body, you can see plant में, animal में carbon 12 present है, the normal natural carbon. Can I say that they may also intake carbon 14? Yes or no? Now you can see that there is a living organism. In that living organism's body, carbon 12 भी है and carbon 14 भी है. Now, can I conclude or can I say here that carbon 12 and carbon 14 इसका एक रेशियो होगा in every living organism's body. I as a living organism, you as a living organism, हमारे बॉडी में कार्बन 12 भी है, कार्बन 14 भी है एंड उसका एक रेशियो है जो हमारी बॉडी में वो एग्जिस्ट करते हैं इन दैट रेशियो. नाउ कैन आई से दैट वन फाइन डे इफ दिस एनिमल विल अंडरगो डेथ, as soon as this animal dies, can I say that the carbon 14 which is radioactive will start decaying? Yes or no? Can I say that the carbon 14 will start decaying, and you can see here that the carbon 14 decaying has been started. Carbon 12, which is non-radioactive, remains constant after death. You can see here that carbon 14 धीरे धीरे करके decay हो रहा है because it is radioactive. Carbon 12, which is non-radioactive, remains constant after death. Now if you calculate a ratio, can I say that here the ratio is different comparing to the ratio that I had calculated before. There the carbon 14 and 12, there was a fixed ratio, but here the ratio is different. This will help us to calculate the time passed since the death of a plant or an animal by measuring the radioactivity of carbon 14 and the ratio of carbon 14 to carbon 12 present in their body. This technique, this method is called as carbon dating. Carbon dating is a method that is used in paleontology, study of fossil. It is also used in anthropology, which means study of human behavior. Okay, study of human behavior and their societies for determining the age of human fossils and manuscripts. Once the age of fossil has been determined by such technique, it becomes very easy to deduce the information, to gather the information about the erstwhile organism, which means the former organism. So you will not get exact ratio, you will not get exact age, you will not get exact number, but you will get a rough estimation. And that rough estimation can help you understand the sequence of evolution. Okay. This entire concept of carbon dating was put forward by a scientist called as Willard Libby, and carbon dating is a method based upon the radioactive decay of naturally occurring carbon 14, and it is developed by Willard Libby. Okay, so I hope we could understand this method called carbon dating. Willard Libby was been awarded with Nobel Prize in 1960 for this method that he published in the journal called as radiocarbon. Okay, so I hope till here we all are clear and we have understood the two types of carbon that existed and how we calculated the rough estimated age of fossils. Till here is everybody clear? Okay. Yes. So how many types of carbon do we have? Two. One is carbon 12 and the other one is carbon 14. Okay. We saw that one is the normal carbon, the other one is radioactive in nature. Yes or no? We saw that the radioactive carbon will start decaying and the other carbon, carbon 12, remains constant. Okay. When an organism is alive, there is a fixed ratio of carbon 14 to carbon 12. But when the organism undergoes death, carbon 14 starts decaying. That ratio you will compare with the original ratio and you get a rough estimation of the organisms that existed. Clear everybody? Okay. Just give me a minute. We move on to another evidence now, and this evidence has a name to remember called as connecting links. Okay, very, very important question that is generally asked in the board examination, that write a note on connecting links. Okay, we all should understand this concept clearly. So let's begin with connecting link. Okay, now can you all understand that, as the name says, connecting link? Okay, organisms referred to as connecting links are those which are structurally intermediate between two different groups. Now, इसका मतलब क्या है? Okay, for example, we know that fishes के बाद जो animals evolve होके form हुए, they were amphibians. Yes or no? Fishes के बाद जो animals evolve होके form हुए, they were the amphibians. Now, can I say fishes directly amphibians नहीं बने होंगे, उनके बीच में there could be some animals which were present, and these animals, you know, they exhibit features of both fishes also and amphibians also. Such organisms, we title them as connecting links. Clear? Okay, ऐसे animals जिनमें कुछ features fishes जैसा है and कुछ features amphibian जैसा है, हम उनको बोलेंगे connecting links. Okay, this is the definition. Organisms which are referred to as connecting links are those which are structurally intermediate between two different groups. Structurally intermediate matlab they lie in between the two groups in the sequence of evolution, and they exhibit some features of both the group. So we have the example now. There is a group of organisms here. We will study about them in animal classification in detail. Here there is a group called Annelida. Okay, Annelida mein examples include earthworm, leech, etc. So Annelida is a group. Annelida ke baad, the next group that came into picture is Arthropoda. Okay, and Arthropoda include all kind of insect. One such example that they have given here is the cockroach. Clear? Okay, so we have Annelida and we have got Arthropoda. Between them, there is an organism which is present here, which happens to be a connecting link between the Annelida and the Arthropoda. This organism has a name to remember called as peripatus. Very, very important term. What is it called? Peripatus. So this is an animal that can exhibit, or rather it exhibits some features like that of Annelida. It has some features in the body like that of Arthropoda. So it happens to be a connecting link between the Annelida and between the Arthropoda. Till here, is everybody clear? Anybody with any confusion? Okay, so let's start. Now, can I say, जैसे higher animals में in our body we have kidney as the organs of excretion. Similarly, Annelida के group में जो organisms है, उनके body में there are certain organs which are meant for excretion, जिनको हम बोलते हैं nephridia. Very important. What do we call them as? Nephridia. So phylum Annelida, this group called Annelida, they have got segmental nephridia. These are the organs of excretion. Okay, so segmental nephridia, these are the organs of excretion which are present in the group of Annelida. Peripatus ke paas bhi, or rather the peripatus also has segmental nephridia. So can I say one feature is matching with both of them? Okay, next, can I say that whenever you observe earthworm or whenever you observe a leech, unka outer body is very slimy and slippery. Yes or no? So we say that this group called Annelida, they show thin cuticle, the outer covering. They show a thin cuticle. Similarly, here the peripatus also shows a thin cuticle. Okay, next. Parapodia, for locomotion, for movement. These organisms bear a structure called as parapodia, and these parapodia are also present in the peripatus. Yes, are you all understanding? See, here we are trying to understand that evolution has happened, and evolution has happened, iska evidence hai connecting link. Okay, because we can see here that Annelida में से Arthropoda group evolve होके form हुआ, but directly Annelida did not become Arthropoda. Annelida groups के animal evolved and they became something like peripatus, which shows the features of Annelida also, which shows the features of Arthropoda also. So we have understood the three features of Annelida that are common in the peripatus also. The first one is segmental nephridia. These are the organs of excretion. Then we have got the second one, thin cuticle, the outer covering. And we have got the parapodia. These are the locomotory organs which are used by these organisms to travel, to move from one place to another. Clear till here, everybody? Okay. Now, arthropoda, which includes all insect. Okay. Arthropoda may they say that these organisms, okay, arthropoda, they have got trachea for respiration, for the process of breathing to occur in their body. They have got trachea, which is also present in peripatus. And then they say that in arthropoda, they have the mechanism of open circulation. In our body, we know that the blood flows in the blood vessels. We show closed circulation, but arthropods generally, they show open circulation, and this is also present in the peripatus. So these two features, having trachea and having open circulation, these features are present in the peripatus. Clear till here, everybody? So we can conclude that the peripatus exhibits some features of Annelida, some features of Arthropoda. So it is a connecting link between both the Annelida and the Arthropoda. Okay. Do not write in exam, children, that it is a link between earthworm and cockroach. They are the examples. We will say that the peripatus is a link between Annelida and Arthropoda. Okay. Very, very important. They ask you for 3 marks. Okay. Write a short note on connecting link with any one example. There are 3 examples, and out of these 3 examples, we have done the first example. Clear, everybody? Okay. Any confusion? Come on. Now in our notebooks, we will give the title connecting links. A very important question. Generally, they ask for 3 marks. Come on. In the book, write down the title connecting link. We will not draw anything. What I want you to do is, first you will write the definition of connecting link the way it is there on the screen. Okay, so all of you will write the definition of the connecting link the way it is there on the screen. Once you complete writing the definition, tell me in the chat box. Then I will tell you what has to be done next. Yes, Tanishq, this example will be considered as a point of the answer. There are 3 examples that we have, and we have learned the first example here. Okay, come on, write the definition. Once you all complete writing the definition, please post me in the chat box. Then I will tell you how do we write the examples. So I assume all of you have written the definition. I can see many people writing in the chat box that they have completed. Okay, I'll wait for another 1 minute. Can I begin? Can I continue? Okay. So now what I wanted to do is all of you will write like this. Okay, that the way they have written. Can you see here? They have written Annelida. Just a minute. Can you see they have written Annelida? And they have written Arthropoda. Yes. So just write like this: Annelida. Make an arrow. Write peripatus. Then again this arrow, and then write Arthropoda. Just write the way they have written. Come on, write Annelida, make an arrow, then write peripatus, and then again the arrow, and then the arthropoda. Now below Annelida, you can write the example for you to remember. Earthworm. Below arthropoda, you can write an example to remember cockroach. Okay. These examples are for your understanding कि Annelida क्या है और arthropoda क्या है. Okay. Now, you have, I hope everybody has written like this: Annelida, then we have made one arrow key, we have written peripatus, again then one arrow key, we have written arthropoda. Below Annelida and arthropoda, we have written the respective examples. Now below earthworm, okay, just below earthworm, give 3 numberings, 1 to 3. Earthworm ke niche give 3 numberings, and we will write the features which we have in the group of Annelida. So you will write like this: segmental nephridia, number 2 thin cuticle, number 3 parapodia. So these features you write under Annelida, the way it is there on the screen. Segmental nephridia, uske niche thin cuticle, and below that you write parapodia. Segmental nephridia, in the bracket write down excretory organ. Thin cuticle, in the bracket write down outer covering. Refer the screen, all of you. Give 3 numbering 1 2 3 you do, and then you write segmental nephridia is the first point, then thin cuticle is the second one, then parapodia is the third one. Clear? Why do they have parapodia? Annelida के group में parapodia से क्या करते हैं? Why do they have parapodia? So that they can locomote, they can travel, move from one region to another. जैसे we have feet, they have got parapodia, and all these 3 features they are found in the peripatus also. Okay, I repeat: segmental nephridia is the excretory organ, thin cuticle is the outer covering, parapodia is locomotory organ. Segmental nephridia, excretory organ, thin cuticle is the outer covering, and parapodia happens to be the locomotory organ. Clear till here? Then under arthropoda, there are only 2 features that we have understood, that they have trachea and open circulation. So give 2 number 1 and number 2. Number 1 mein you write trachea, number 2 mein you write open circulation. Number 1 is your trachea and number 2 is open circulation. Okay. So anybody in the, I give you 2 minutes. Okay. Anybody in the class can tell me why is peripatus taken as a connecting link between the reptile, the Annelida and the arthropod? Why is it taken as a connecting link between the Annelida and the arthropoda group? Okay, just go through all the points, and then one person in the class, I give a chance, they will unmute, he or she will unmute, and will tell us that why it is a connecting link. Come on, who will answer? If you are unable to speak up, it's okay, I will help you in between, but please ensure that we try to recollect that what we have studied. Yes, Dhanashri, you can tell us that why it is a connecting link.
So can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, tell me.
Peripatus is a connecting link of Annelida and Arthropoda because it reflects characters of them.
It reflects characters of them. Yes, correct. Can Tanishq tell me any one feature of Annelida and the peripatus which matches? Yes, Tanishq, any one feature that matches? Tell me.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Tell me.
Sir, can you repeat the question?
My question is, any one feature between Annelida and the peripatus that matches? Can you tell me any one function, any one feature of the body जो annelida में भी है and arthropoda में भी है? Sorry, peripatus में है. One feature that matches. Yes, Tanish, are you there?
Yes, yes.
Tell me any one feature between annelida. There are 3 features in annelida that we have written. Out of 3, you tell me any one feature.
Sir, means the example which we did
Yes, the
from that
example that we did. Correct. Yes, yes.
earthworm and cockroach, no sir.
हाँ, earthworm and cockroach. So earthworm में क्या features है जो you see in the peripatus? What features you see in the earthworm? And
The
हाँ, correct.
Segmental
Segmental
nephridia.
segmental nephridia. Anybody in the class can tell me what does segmental nephridia mean? Anybody in the class can tell me what does segmental nephridia mean? Yes, Shruti, tell us.
It is excretory organ.
They are the organs of excretion, correct? Okay, so this is one feature that Tanishk and Shruti told us, that are common between the annelida and the peripatus. Then there is another feature. Okay, Deval, can you try the other feature that is common for both? Yes, Deval. You have to unmute. Yes, others in the class can also raise your hand. Yes, Parth, what you have written in the chat box, can you unmute and speak? The answer is correct. Yes, Deval. Yes, Parth, can you try? Okay. Shruti, can you unmute and tell us the second feature?
Sir, it is the thin cuticle.
It is a thin cuticle, and I hope you all are aware that cuticle here refers to the outer covering, correct? Cuticle refers to outer covering. Then the third feature, okay, for movement, annelida and the arthropod, annelida and the peripatus, they have something in common for movement. Yes, Vedant, tell us which feature is that?
Yes, sir. It is parapodia.
It is the parapodia, correct. And can anybody tell me that the arthropoda and the peripatus, they share 2 things in common? What are the 2 things which are common between the arthropoda and the peripatus? Who will try this? The arthropoda, which means the group of insect, and we had the peripatus. What features do you find common in between these 2? Yes, Palak, tell us. Children, raise your hands, please. Yes, Palak, tell me. I cannot hear.
Sir, can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. Tell me.
Sir, the trachea and the open circulation.
Correct, the trachea and the open circulation. So I hope we all are clear with the first example. Yes, the first connecting link example. Let's all re-log in again. Okay, let's re-log in.